When 74-year-old Barbara Thompson discovered her own granddaughter had stolen her identity to fund a luxury influencer lifestyle, the betrayal nearly crushed her. But instead of becoming a victim, Barbara pulled off the ultimate twist. With a flair for reinvention and the sass of a woman who's been through wars, both literal and emotional, Barbara flipped the script, built a brand, and turned the shame they dumped on her into a spotlight. This isn't just a story about stolen credit cards or fake accounts. It's about family betrayal, revenge sweeter than pie, and a senior citizen who went viral when she refused to be erased. So buckle up. This story is messy, it's petty, it's powerful, and oh yes, it ends with a granddaughter begging for a collab. Like, sure, subscribe, because grandma just entered the chat. It began on a chilly Tuesday in February, when Barbara Thompson received a call from her bank about suspicious charges made at a luxury spa in Miami. The woman had barely left her house in Portland for weeks. How on earth had she paid for a $1,200 seaweed wrap? First she chuckled. "I haven't wrapped myself in anything but a quilt this winter," she told the banker, assuming it was a glitch. But as the list of charges kept coming, her breath caught. Balenciaga heels, a 5-night stay at the Fontainebleau, 3 Uber Black rides from South Beach to Brickell. The fraud wasn't just blatant. It was extravagant. Barbara may have been retired, but her mind was sharp as ever. She jotted every transaction down in her notepad, hands shaking. "Who would do this to me?" she whispered, heart pounding. Her first thought was some random cybercriminal. But as she logged into her credit statement online, something odd stood out. The user had updated her contact info to an email she vaguely recognized. A name she couldn't forget. It was her granddaughter, Riley. Riley, 24, had always been a little dramatic. A flair for selfies, expensive taste without the budget to match, and a history of maxing out emergency loans from family. Barbara had bailed her out once, maybe twice, but never suspected the girl she'd bounced on her knee would one day become the fraud. Tears welled in her eyes, but her spine straightened. She wasn't going to be anyone's quiet victim. He called Riley, straight to voicemail. He tried texting, left on read. He even messaged on Facebook. No reply. But the next morning, Barbara saw Riley posting photos from a Miami rooftop, sipping what looked like a $30 mimosa. #grandma vibes, the caption read. Barbara stared at the post. Her eye twitched. "Oh honey," she muttered, grabbing her cane. "You just declared war." Barbara didn't sleep that night. The betrayal gnawed at her chest like a slow burn. At 3 a.m., she sat at the kitchen table in her floral robe, sipping chamomile tea and scrolling through Riley's public Instagram. There she was, poolside, pouting, living large. Caption after caption dripped with delusion. Manifesting luxury nail polish sparkles. And my vibe is billionaire's niece. Except it was Barbara's hard-earned social security and spotless credit history funding those mimosas. She dialed her daughter, Riley's mother, first thing in the morning. "Maggie," Barbara said as soon as the line picked up, "I need to talk to you. Right now." Maggie sighed. "Mom, can it wait? I've got a yoga class in 20 minutes. "No, it absolutely cannot wait. Your daughter stole my identity." There was silence on the line, followed by a slow, hesitant laugh. "Mom, what are you talking about?" Barbara recounted every detail. The bank call, the charges, the email address. Maggie went quiet. Then came the excuse parade. "She's young. She makes mistakes. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe she borrowed your card and forgot to ask. She hacked into my accounts, Maggie," Barbara snapped. "This isn't borrowing a $10 bill from my purse. This is fraud. Felony fraud." But Maggie wasn't hearing it. She was too wrapped up in image, in denial, in keeping up appearances. Barbara hung up feeling like she just tried to wring sense out of a foghorn. The betrayal now had layers. Not just Riley, but Maggie too. A mother enabling her daughter's delusions. A daughter dismissing her mother's pain. Barbara sat back in her chair and stared at the ceiling. Her eyes burned, but no tears came. "Fine," she whispered. "If none of you want to hold her accountable, I will." She grabbed her spiral notebook, opened a new page, and wrote 3 words in capital letters. Plan for war. And beneath that, don't get mad. Get famous. Barbara tried everything short of sending a smoke signal. She emailed Riley 3 times, polite, firm, and then furious. She texted her with screenshots of the transactions. She left voicemails that ranged from disappointed grandmother to legally prepared witness. She even DM'd Riley on Instagram, right under a post captioned, "Never let anyone dim your sparkling heart sparkles." But Riley? Radio silence. The final straw came when Barbara received a certified letter from a collections agency. It was for a Saks Fifth Avenue credit card, one she never opened. Riley had taken it a step further. A whole new identity profile. Barbara's stomach churned. The sense of violation was no longer digital. It was intimate, personal, and growing by the day. Her credit score had plummeted 130 points. Her bank account flagged for fraud. Her reputation at the local senior center? Embarrassed because her automatic payments to the garden club bounced. And still, no apology. She realized then, Riley wasn't just pretending she hadn't done anything wrong. She was pretending Barbara didn't exist, ghosted by her own blood. "All right then," Barbara muttered to herself. "You want to play pretend? I'll show you how it's done." That afternoon, Barbara walked to the local library with her notepad in hand. There, under the soft hum of fluorescent lights and the scent of dusty paperbacks, she began researching how to file identity theft reports. Then she Googled, "How to go viral after family betrayal." What she found wasn't just legal templates, it was opportunity. Barbara jotted down 3 more lines beneath her original war plan. File a police report, emotionally devastating but necessary. Freeze credit, done that before lunch. Tell the world with flair because grandma still has game. She looked at her reflection in the monitor's dark glass. The silver curls, the crow's feet, the soft but steady gaze. "If you think I'm too old to get loud," she said softly, "you've mistaken kindness for weakness." Barbara sat down with a fraud specialist at the bank. A kind-eyed woman named Janelle with a sympathetic voice and an efficient manner. "This might be hard to hear," Janelle said, tapping her keyboard. "But your identity was used to open 4 store credit cards, 2 personal loans, and submit an apartment rental application." Barbara's jaw dropped. "I live in a paid-off bungalow. Why would I rent a $4,000 apartment in Brickell?" Janelle sighed. "Unfortunately, elder identity theft is rising. And the fact that it's someone you know makes it even messier." They spent 3 hours filing reports, freezing credit, contacting credit bureaus. When Barbara left the bank, she felt both empowered and sick to her stomach. She stopped at a Walgreens to print out copies of every fraudulent charge, every screenshot, every smug post Riley had made. By the time she returned home, she had a binder full of betrayal. She flipped it shut and whispered, "Let's go." Barbara showed up uninvited to Maggie's house. She rang the bell twice before Maggie opened it, mid-yoga pose, still wearing a headband that read "Positive Vibes Only." "We need to talk. Now." Maggie waved her hands. "Mom, if this is about Riley again." "It is," Barbara snapped, stepping inside. "And if you don't sit down and listen, I'm walking straight to the police. Your daughter stole my identity. And you let her." Maggie tried to deny it, then deflect, then blame stress, peer pressure, youth culture. Barbara dropped the binder on the kitchen table. Maggie flipped through the pages, her face draining. "I didn't know it was this bad." "You chose not to know," Barbara corrected. "And that makes you complicit." Barbara stood tall. "I'm filing charges unless Riley calls me tonight. With an apology. And a plan to fix this." Maggie didn't speak. Barbara left with her cane striking the tile like a judge's gavel. That night, Barbara sat in her favorite chair and finally let herself cry. Not just over the fraud. Over the years she'd spent putting everyone else first. The unpaid babysitting. The holidays hosted. The loans given. The silence tolerated. She was tired of being the strong one. But as she wept, something surprising happened. Her phone buzzed. A message from one of the younger women at the senior center. "Saw your FB post. Can't believe what Riley did. If you ever want to talk or blast her online, count me in." Barbara chuckled through tears. Maybe she wasn't alone. The next day, she joined a Facebook group called Savage Grandmas. He posted her story. It blew up. Comments poured in. "You should go viral for this. Start a podcast." Teach us how to fight back." Barbara blinked at the screen. Maybe this wasn't a breakdown. Maybe it was her second act. Barbara grabbed her notebook again. New page. New header. Rebrand the pain. Weaponize the wisdom. She made a list. Create a YouTube channel. Tell the story safely, legally, and with sass. Brand herself as a warning and a role model. Use Riley's own tactics. Hashtags, filters, trending sounds. She looked up trending topics for elder fraud. Nothing catchy. Nothing human. "I'll be the face," she muttered. "The real influencer." She called her neighbor's teenage son Aiden, a quiet tech-savvy kid who owed her a favor for all the brownies she'd given him. "You want to help me set up a YouTube channel?" she asked. He blinked. "For what?" Barbara grinned. "For revenge, sweetheart. For revenge with views." Within days, Nana Gottskamd was born. Her first video was simple. Barbara sitting in her living room, holding Riley's Instagram photo and calmly narrating what had happened. She didn't cry. She didn't rant. She told the truth with dignity and humor. "Hi, I'm Barbara. I'm 74. And my own granddaughter stole my identity to buy Balenciaga shoes she can't pronounce." The video got 12,000 views in 24 hours. By the end of the week, she had 50,000 followers. Comments exploded. "Queen. Expose her. My grandma would never. But I kinda wish she would." Even brands started noticing. Barbara got a message from a digital safety startup wanting to collaborate. She laughed so hard she snorted. The final touch. She stitched one of Riley's vacation TikToks with her own calm reaction. "She used my name to get there. I'm using my truth to get here." It went viral. Barbara sipped her tea. Game on. What started as a single video grew into something much larger. Barbara's second post, where she calmly explained how elder identity theft works using hand-drawn infographics and a pot of chamomile tea, hit 100,000 views in 3 days. People were hungry for authenticity, for justice, for sass with substance. Soon, she had a community, commenters calling themselves the Nana Nation. They flooded Riley's account with cucumber emojis, an inside joke referencing Barbara's metaphor about peeling back lies like a cucumber, and tagged her in posts demanding accountability. Barbara started posting weekly tea time with Nana videos, breaking down scams, sharing her healing journey, and dishing updates with her dry, witty humor. She opened a P.O. box and started receiving letters from grandmothers, college students, even former scammers who'd turned their lives around. She was no longer alone. Nana Nation was loud, loyal, and growing fast. And Barbara, she was just getting started. With fame came backlash. One morning, Barbara received a cease and desist letter from Riley's new management team. They claimed Barbara was defaming a young woman's personal brand and intentionally ruining her reputation. Barbara rolled her eyes. She ruined it herself. She posted a calm response video, reading the letter, then holding up the bank statements. "Receipts," she said with a wink. Literally. The video hit 1 million views. Of course, not everyone was on her side. Some trolls accused her of seeking attention. A tabloid offered to pay Riley for her side of the story. Riley obliged, claiming Barbara exaggerated everything for clout. Barbara clapped back the only way she knew how: class, clarity, and controlled pettiness. She posted a video titled, "When Life Hands You a Lawsuit, Make Lemonade." And she did, launching a Nana Nation tea brand. First flavor? Cucumber Karma. It sold out in hours. Riley couldn't ignore the fallout anymore. Her follower count was dropping. Her brand deals were ghosting. Even her friends were turning against her. One Sunday afternoon, Barbara got a tag notification. Riley had posted a tearful apology video. She sobbed. She admitted to a lapse in judgment. She begged for forgiveness. She claimed Barbara always inspired her, and she'd lost her way. The internet went wild. Some praised the apology. Others weren't buying it. Barbara, she watched silently, then posted her own response. A clip from the original apology video, then a compilation of Riley's DMs trashing Barbara just days earlier. "Redemption doesn't come with filters," she said simply. "It comes with growth. I'm not seeing much." The post went nuclear. Even Riley's manager dropped her. Barbara didn't need to clap back. She'd already won. By now, Barbara was not just viral, she was thriving. She'd landed a feature in Good Morning America, signed a book deal titled Identity Reclaimed, and had a full merch store. T-shirts, mugs, even plush cucumbers. She was earning real money, more than her pension ever provided. More importantly, she had purpose. Young influencers began reaching out, asking her to collaborate. Companies asked her to speak about digital safety and resilience. Even the mayor of Portland invited her to a senior tech summit. Barbara walked onto that stage in her floral blazer and orthopedic sneakers like it was the Met Gala. "I'm not just a victim of identity theft," she said. "I'm proof that you can reclaim your voice at any age and use it louder than ever." The crowd erupted. And Riley? She watched from her tiny apartment, scrolling through Barbara's latest merch drop. #NanaNation wasn't slowing down. It was a movement. Barbara adjusted her reading glasses and stared at the blinking cursor on her laptop. "Go live," it taunted. After weeks of growing her NanaNation YouTube channel, her inbox overflowed with requests. But one stood out, the Honest Elder podcast, a rising Gen Z show run by a quirky pair of 20-something social justice warriors. They wanted to interview her, not as a victim, but as a warrior. The episode dropped on a Monday morning. Barbara's voice trembled at first. "My name is Barbara Thompson, and my granddaughter stole my identity to become famous. So I decided to become more famous than her." The hosts gasped. She told them everything. The fraud, the fake TikToks, the $27,000 of debt, and the smug family brunch where Maggie defended it all with a mimosa in hand. She said I'd forget about it in a week. So I made sure no one else would. When they asked if she forgave Riley, Barbara paused. "I forgive her future self, the one who hasn't arrived yet. But this current Riley, she's just getting started with her consequences." Twitter lit up. #JusticeForNana trended in under an hour. Riley, sitting pretty in a rented downtown LA loft, sipped her matcha latte while scrolling her feed. Something felt off. Her comment section? Not the usual heart emojis. Instead, "You stole your grandma's ID and you still can't pay rent? LMAO. Did she teach you to lie like you do your skincare routine? Where's Nana? We like her more." Within days, she lost 3 brand partnerships. Then came the call from Facebox Cosmetics. Due to recent backlash and verified reports of financial fraud, we're pulling the campaign. And no, you won't be paid for the remaining deliverables. Riley screamed and threw her ring light against the wall. She tried calling Maggie. Straight to voicemail. Maggie sat alone in her sleek stainless steel kitchen, swirling a glass of Merlot. She hadn't spoken to Barbara in over a week. She told herself it was because she was too busy. But deep down it was shame. Barbara had gone viral. Good Morning America wanted an exclusive. She had signed with a digital manager from New York. And Maggie? She was getting called the mother who enabled a scammer in YouTube comment sections. Then the letter arrived. Handwritten. Slanted cursive. Barbara's unmistakable style. "Dear Maggie, you raised a daughter who thinks entitlement is a personality. You betrayed your own mother and blamed it on convenience. I forgive neither of you, but I will outshine both of you. With love, Barbara." Maggie tore the letter in half, but the guilt remained. Barbara sat in a softly lit studio, hair freshly curled, lipstick dabbed to perfection. Across from her sat Janet Bell, host of the wildly popular Real America Today. "You turned identity theft into a brand?" Barbara smiled calmly. "No, they turned it into theft. I turned it into identity." The segment aired at 7 p.m. on a Friday. By 7:15, her YouTube subscriber count surged past 500,000. Even the network was shocked by the numbers. Riley watched the segment in stunned silence as Barbara said, "Old women don't vanish. We evolve. I'm proof." Her friend muttered, "Yo, your grandma's killing it. You might wanna apologize." But Riley just whispered, "She's destroying me." And she wasn't wrong. Barbara sat at her kitchen table with a cup of chamomile tea, lights dimmed, microphone hot and camera rolling. She wasn't just telling her story anymore. She was broadcasting it. Thousands were watching her YouTube live stream titled, "What My Granddaughter Stole From Me and What I Took Back." Her hair was neatly styled, makeup soft, her voice calm but piercing. "You all know me as Nana B now," she began, "but once upon a time I was just Barbara Bennett, retired schoolteacher, proud grandma, and credit score in the 800s. People in the live chat were already flooding her feed with fire emojis, heart reacts, and comments like, "Tell them, Nana. Justice for Barbara. Grandma got guts, fire, fire, fire." Then, without flinching, she read aloud the Instagram DMs Riley had sent mocking her. "You won't even know what hit you, Nana. Just chill and let me do my thing." Barbara didn't cry. She didn't shout. She smirked. "Well, sweetie," she said, leaning in, "I'm doing my thing now." The video was clipped and reposted within minutes by dozens of meme accounts. By midnight, hashtag Nana got scammed was trending. Riley hadn't looked at her notifications in hours. She couldn't. Every time she opened her phone, she saw hate jokes and stitched TikToks of Barbara's live with Gen Z creators saying things like, "Honestly, Nana served." Sponsorships were gone. Her PR team dropped her. Even her favorite protein shake brand ghosted her. In a desperate attempt to salvage her image, Riley posted an Instagram video. "I'm so sorry to anyone I hurt, especially my Nana, Barbara. I just got caught up trying to survive." But the comments were brutal. "You stole her credit card, not her sweater. Go sit down. Nana's got more followers than you now. This isn't an apology, it's a brand collapse." Meanwhile, Barbara's subscriber count passed 750,000. And Barbara, she was planning her first brand deal with a tech company that made senior-friendly cybersecurity kits. Maggie Bennett, once a smug, passive-aggressive suburban mom, was unraveling fast. At the local grocery store, people whispered. At yoga class, no one made eye contact. Her book club canceled. She called Barbara again, voice tense. "Mom, please. You've made your point. Riley's lost everything. What more do you want?" Barbara didn't raise her voice. "Maggie, I'm not doing this for revenge anymore. I'm doing it because women my age deserve a voice. You should try listening." Maggie snapped. "This family is falling apart." Barbara smiled. Maybe it needed to. Meanwhile, Maggie's own shady business dealings, off-the-books earnings, some tax evasion, were starting to surface thanks to a whistleblower tip Barbara accidentally shared during an interview. Oops. It wasn't just a channel anymore. It was a movement. Barbara's community, now affectionately known as Nana Nation, included thousands of older women and men who had experienced everything from elder financial abuse to emotional neglect from their families. They posted their own stories. They supported each other. They rallied. Barbara began hosting weekly segments. Tea with Nana, breaking down scams targeting seniors, Forgiveness Fridays, spotlighting stories of healing and comeback, Cancel-Proof Confidence, a segment on building dignity after betrayal. The YouTube algorithm loved her. News outlets were requesting interviews. She even got an invite to speak at a TEDx talk titled, "You're Never Too Old to Reclaim Your Story." Riley, now without sponsors, stuck trying to sell secondhand handbags on Depop, could only watch in stunned silence. Maggie stopped texting altogether. Barbara, she clicked upload on a new video titled, "How I Got Scammed by My Granddaughter," and got the last laugh. Her smile in the thumbnail said it all. Barbara stepped into the NBC studio like she owned the place. Dressed in a lemon yellow pantsuit and a brooch shaped like a phoenix, she radiated confidence. The same media that once painted her as a confused old woman had now rebranded her as America's sassiest senior truth-teller. Her interview on Morning Moments aired live. When the host asked what she wanted to say to her granddaughter, Barbara didn't flinch. "If you're watching this, Riley, I hope you understand. You stole from me. But more than money, you stole my name. So now I'm building something with it. Something honest." The internet exploded. Hashtag Barbara Means Business trended for 72 hours. Book publishers came calling. Even Shark Tank producers sent feelers. Behind the screen, Riley hurled her phone across her room. Maggie's HOA-groomed world came crashing down when Barbara's fanbase launched a petition to investigate financial elder abuse. The local sheriff showed up at Maggie's door with a warrant. Maggie's cheeks flushed with horror as neighbors peeked through blinds. Her Lexus, leased on Barbara's stolen credit. Her HOA dues, paid with Barbara's retirement fund. Her reputation? Obliterated. Barbara watched the footage online. "That's karma with a side of justice," she told her cat. A week later, Maggie stood awkwardly at Barbara's porch with trembling hands and puffy eyes. Riley was behind her, makeup-free, the TikTok gloss stripped away. "Mom, I'm sorry," Maggie choked. "I didn't know how bad it had gotten." Barbara crossed her arms. "You didn't care to know. There's a difference." But Barbara wasn't made of stone. She invited them in, on one condition. They sign a restitution agreement and publicly apologize on the same platform Riley used to mock her. Riley posted a video titled, "I betrayed my grandma. Here's the truth." He got 10 million views in 24 hours. Months later, Barbara stood on the TEDx stage in San Francisco. Her talk was called "Reclaiming Your Power at Any Age." She spoke of betrayal, reinvention, and legacy. Nana Nation had grown into a full foundation supporting seniors affected by identity theft. Barbara had a podcast, a memoir in the works, and yes, a deal with QVC for her very own line of embroidered cardigans. Be True by Barbara. Riley now worked as her assistant. Maggie? She volunteered at the local senior center. Barbara smiled at the standing ovation. "They stole my identity," she said, "but I used it to create something even better. My voice." Fade out with the words on screen. Never underestimate a grandma with a grudge and Wi-Fi.